Homer on this September 10th around 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll take you through Irma and the Sarasota region, but first, here is last night in Lido.
You see these amazing towering cube prior to the hurricane, 24 or 30 hours before. Look at this skyline here. Sarasota. Incredible. Driving 40 miles an hour. I'm going to be driving my bike out here on Sunday afternoon. I don't care if the winds are 110. I'm going to wear a football helmet or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. There's Nina in the distance.
All right, I'm not the most technical savvy person in the world here, so just bear with me. And first of all, here is Irma. As of about 7 o'clock this morning, became a Category 4 hurricane once again. And you can see the defined eye here right now. The biggest concern really has been tornadoes around southeast Florida. And I think the worst of it's going to be across southwest and west central northwest Florida. All the hype about devastation and destruction in Miami, it hasn't really been that bad. Winds have been about 100 miles an hour max. Sea rise only about maybe 5 to 10 feet as far as the tides go. But the easterly winds around here is causing some coastal flooding and also is causing tornadoes. That also often happens in the northeast and northwest section of the storm, especially when it approaches land. So right now, here's Irma. And moving through the Keys in the last couple hours here late this morning. And the question becomes, where is this thing going to go? And amazingly enough, it's pretty damn difficult, even this late in the game. Forecasting long range sometimes easier than predicting what's going to happen 24 hours in advance. So here is one model that we like. And sorry for the mix-up here on trying to make all this stuff work. Here's the track coming right up the coast. Now, if it stays off the coast, like some of these models suggest, then this could be more a Cat 4, maybe even a Cat 5 hurricane. Look at the way this thing develops and moves right over Fort Myers, Sarasota to the northwest. If that happens, there could be winds of 135 to 150 over the Sarasota area and across Tampa later tonight. Right now, I am more concerned about the surge of flooding. I don't know if that thing's going to stay off shore like some models predict. If it stays inland and goes over Vero Beach and around Fort Myers, then we'll luck out with only maybe 70 or 80 mile an hour winds, maybe 100 miles an hour tops in the Sarasota area between about 10 o'clock this Sunday night and 3 o'clock in the morning. A very close call. As far as the Tampa Bay area goes and also tides around Sarasota, first of all, I have to tell you that Tampa Bay does not get hit very often by hurricanes. This is because the city actually faces the oceans to the west, and the prevailing east and west trade winds at that latitude make it uncommon for storms to really make a direct hit on the west coast. Amazingly enough, the last time that Tampa has suffered a hurricane of even Cat 1 strength was 1946, and one of the worst ever was back in 1848, if you can believe that. It was a Cat 3 called the Great Gale of Tampa. So this would be really one of the first Cat 3 hurricanes plus, if it stays offshore, since 1848. That's pretty darn incredible. Anyway, regarding the tides, a lot of people have been asking me about this. And I'm more of an expert in long-range forecasting and also commodities, and some of the short-term forecasting I do does not involve trying to predict a hurricane 12 hours in advance. This is very, very difficult. Land-sea interactions make a difference. Shear makes a difference. We have an increase in shear right now that's occurring that may possibly prevent this thing from getting as strong as some were fearing. Here is a good site to go to if you want to know about surge and tidal areas that take the most precautions. A little bit late now really to evacuate, obviously, but this site will give you a lot more information about how high the tides could be late tonight and early on Monday morning. This shear where you see yellow is increasing over central through northwest Florida. This low wind shear, the blue, is why this thing exploded back to a Category 4 here on Sunday morning. It hit Cuba yesterday, weekend, now it's moving northwest. So if this shear could get into the system, it's possible that Irma will not be catastrophic in the western through northwest part of Florida. Very complex right now. Again, if it stays offshore, then it's going to be a lot worse than many people expect. Once again, I think the worst as far as tidal waves go and flooding is really over the Naples and Fort Myers region right now. So that's a quick version. It's still a little bit too close to call for the Sarasota Tampa area. Certainly it's going to be at least a 2, but if it stays offshore like that one model was suggesting, then it could be a lot worse. Part 2, we'll be talking about commodities and stocks and other investments, which I know no one really cares about right now, but that will be on my website also. Thank you and be safe.